there should be only one champion. Randy Orton, John Cena.
You wrote a column yesterday about President Trump, not necessarily his physical appearance, but what he should be doing to appear
on
the side now of social and racial justice.
Yeah, because his approval ratings are crashing after a terrible few months for him, particularly the last 2 weeks. His inability to show any empathy for what's going on after the George Floyd murder.
His tweeting that when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
Well, everything about it, everything about his reaction has been inflammatory rather than conciliatory and bringing people together.
And then, of course, the tear gassing of the protesters outside the White House, who were actually gathering peacefully and lawfully, so that he could then
he could have his little
that walk
big tough
to
guy
the church,
walk by when in fact
hold up the Bible.
And he did that because he'd been rushed into the secret bunker by Secret Service of the White House to hide from protesters.
Only went there 2.5 times, remember?
Embarrassing. But my point to him was, you're now seeing police officers take the knee. You're seeing National Guard officers in America take the knee.
Very powerful.
You're seeing Joe Biden took the knee last week. You now saw Nancy Pelosi, head of the Democrats in the House, take the knee. You're seeing all sorts of people now around America take the knee in terms, as Chuck Schumer there, Senator, all taking the knee to show respect and to show empathy and to show they get it. Just so they get it. They get things cannot be allowed to continue unchanged after George Floyd. And I just made the point, Donald Trump's apparently planning to give a major address about race and unity. A, it's too late. This should have been what he did a week ago. B, so his words will sound hollow. B, he's not very good when he reads an autocue. We've seen that. Trump becomes quite robotic when he does these things.
Yeah, well, he's better reading an autocue than he is when he's ad-libbing.
Well, in a way, I prefer him to be authentic than when he's reading some sort of manufactured thing. And I said, imagine the power if Donald Trump said, right, national address, live to the nation, and all he did was the camera beamed on him at his desk at the Oval Office, and he got up and he came around the front of the desk and he just said, I just want to show you what I mean by my concern for race and unity, and that I get it, and that we're going to make change. And he got down on one knee and just bowed his head and showed respect to African-American people in America. Imagine that moment. Now, he's not going to do it.
Well,
because he would see it as being subservient. He would see it as weak. All those things. But actually, I think it would be the opposite.
Don't you think the world would see it as simply a virtue signal?
Possibly.
You know, what you have to believe is that Donald Trump really believes in racial justice.
But if he did it, it would be an astonishingly powerful moment.
If he really believed it.
Well, you know, I've said this about Trump before, that actually his lack of empathy is a real problem.
Yes.
But actually, he doesn't... If you're the president, it doesn't really matter if you are completely buying into what you're saying or not.
Oh, no. It definitely matters if you're Donald Trump, if you're buying into what you're saying.
Let me finish. No. Actually, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're basically there as a front person for your country. And it's about the message that you transmit to the world. And I don't care what's going through Trump's mind, whether he thinks it's politically expedient, whether it may win him an election. None of that really bothers me. The imagery of him doing that would be quite extraordinary.
And what did he call Colin Kaepernick when he took the knee?
He called them all sons of bleeps. And Colin Kaepernick was the NFL player, of course, who started this. Interesting sort of chronology here, because it was 2016, and there'd been a lot of terrible incidents involving African-Americans being killed at the hands of police in the build-up to this. And Colin Kaepernick was a top player for the Seattle Seahawks. No, where was he? I can't remember. Whichever team it was. And top player. And he decided to sit out the national anthem in protest. So he would sit back. And I wrote a column about him at the time, criticising him, saying, this looks very disrespectful just to sit during the national anthem. And then a very interesting thing happened. A guy called Nate Boyer, who was a former Green Beret, and had played, I think he played at the Seattle Seahawks briefly. He contacted Kaepernick and said, look, I think this sitting is very disrespectful in the way it looks. But in the military, when we want to show ultimate respect for a fallen hero, a fallen comrade, we get on one knee and we take the knee. And Kaepernick listened to this, and they had a real coming together. They then went to the next game together. Boyer stood and put his hand over his chest, as many people do with the anthem in America. Kaepernick went on one knee.
San Francisco.
And from that moment, taking the knee for racial injustice became a thing. And it's now a thing that's, in 4 years, become one of the most powerful symbols, isn't it, of this cause.
He was criticised, and those of his allies who also took a knee before games were criticised because it was seen as disrespectful to the American flag.
Yeah.
They were criticised for not being patriots and for being disrespectful to veterans, which is why it's so powerful that
Well, that's why the
the
veteran doing that... And the veteran himself said he got a lot of abuse from people in the military, but he explained to them, he talked to them, and it was a very interesting sort of moment, really. And now you've got the whole world taking a knee because of one guy, Colin Kaepernick, who's been proven completely right. And, all the people, including myself, I was one of the people at the time who said, I think it's disrespectful to sit out the anthem. But now I think that taking the knee's become such a powerful emblem, really, of drawing attention to what is really going on here.
And he never played for an NFL team again, did he?
No, he hasn't worked since.
No.
He hasn't worked. And he's been vilified, there's death threats he's had. I mean, that's courage. That is courage.
Yeah.
That's like, Rosa Parks on the bus, isn't it? That's what courage is, actually. It's doing something is going to make you hated and reviled, but it's the right thing to do.